cool, an art challenge? Okay, so we are doing a art challenge today for a fabulous YouTuber that I very much greatly admire, named Rambu. I'm sorry if I'm saying her name wrong, but their art has been always so inspiring. I originally jumped at the chance to actually animate for their project, but I wasn't up to snuff this time. Next time. So I asked in advance if I could do 2 different outfits or if they had to be from the same video. And they said, no, you could do 2 different outfits. So the 2 outfits I chose to start with was Glenda from Defying Gravity, because Wicked's been so popular. But I really personally like Say My Name more, the Beetlejuice animatic. So I'm like, hey, the Wicked's becoming so popular with the pink and green. Let's go on a slight twist at that with, pink and green, but with Glenda and Beetlejuice. That would be an interesting conversation. I would pay good money to see what they would be talking about. Can you imagine old man, possessor ghost versus preppy witch? That'd be interesting. Anywho, so I had a start, but it's been a while since I've done purely human-esque characters, and I struggled a little bit with, I don't know the female's name, I'm so sorry. I'm not a true fan, I'm sorry. I struggled with her face a bit, because there's such a unique style with how they draw her, and I really wanted to honor that, but it's also supposed to be in my style, because, it's a challenge. So the body came pretty quickly. I'm really good at human anatomy and foreshortening, and the hands gave me no trouble at all, except when they held hands. Don't look at those hands. Look at the pretty ones. Look away, children. Look away. So, worked with that. I also wanted to bring more of a movement in with the actual clothes. I may have accidentally liked it at the beginning, and at the end I didn't like it, but it was too far to change it, specifically with Beetlejuice's jacket. But it's fine. It's fine. I personally would love to know more information about these characters, and the fact that, we've been seeing them on and off throughout the years, because some of these videos and animatics that Rambu has done has been 6 years old. And it's just inspiring, just utterly inspiring, the work that they do, to the point where I'm trying to do my own animatic. Anywho, we're talking about Rambu, not me. Another time. I could never quite tell the gender of the mouse. Some animatics, they're also female. Some animatics, they're male, like in Beetlejuice compared to Defying Gravity. So I went for a very androgynous look and body type. And I quite like the dynamic. Their poses came together pretty good. I struggled with her eyes, though. Like I said, I struggled with this chick a lot more than I realized, and I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. Line art, I wanted to keep very clean and fresh. I wanted to focus mostly on the rendering style. I've been practicing some different rendering styles to make more fleshy tones. Fleshy? Question mark? And it's a give or take. And when I first started drawing her and painting her, I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. And then I stepped away for food, and I came back and I'm like, this isn't looking as good. Trust the process. And then I stepped away to make more food, supper. And I came back to it again. I'm like, no, she looks green. We gotta fix this. But I'll get to that later. I couldn't really tell what kind of dress Glenda was wearing. I definitely loved the mid-thigh frilly, but I couldn't tell if it was satin or if it was more lace. I just couldn't tell. Not that it's a bad thing. When you're doing animatics, you try to do speed and the feeling of something more than the actual proficiency. Otherwise, you're going to spend hours on just one drawing, and there's like, hundreds of drawings, and there's just not enough hours in the day. So I decided to go for a bit more of a prom dress with more of a tulle kind of feel, very heavy on the actual texture of it. And for Beetlejuice, I would try to keep as close to the original design they made for them, and it came a lot smoother and easily to draw for me because it was simple shapes. The hardest part was just making sure that the stripes stayed relatively consistent. Though that arm coming towards the camera and trying to have, morphed stripes, that wasn't nice. It was mean, and I have no one to blame but myself, but I'm gonna complain anyway. So yeah, as you see, I'm trying to bring more fluidity, life, and show that this is just a little waistcoat, because when you're reaching an arm like that, it's normally not going to stay close to the chest like that. It's going to come out with the shoulder, it's going to come up and away. But at the end result, I don't know, it maybe broke the silhouette a little bit too much. We will see. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'd love to hear your comments, critiques, and praise. Please. I crave validation. It's fine. Blocking in colors, as you guys know, for those who are not used to my channel, I block in my colors with a very off color. Something usually a bit darker than the canvas itself, just so I can see where it's going, if there's any empty spaces. I follow the lines and do a big brush and just fill it in with it at super capacity. It's just a little bit easier on my wrists, and B, I don't have to worry about coloring outside the lines. To me, that's just helps streamline my workflow. Makes it a little bit easier for me to not focus on itty bitty details and focus more on color theory, patterns, how things are lined up, shadows and highlights, and layering it up from that. After I do that, I will usually add minimum of 3, sometimes up to 5 layers on top of that, just to work on top of that for the base colors, and then secondary colors being clothes, hair, face, and then the second or the third layer, depending on how I'm feeling that day, I'll start blending in flesh notes. Highlights on the cheeks, the shoulders, elbows, blush lines along the nose, elbows, fingers, any major amount of skin that would be at the end of a body. Like I said, knees, elbows, nose, fingers, wrists even, they need an extra pop of color and blush because they have to move them up more, and for some reason, that's just something human skin does. I don't know why. With darker skins, it's a similar basis, but you lean more into the saturation than the reds. And also with dark skins, you got to be careful that it doesn't become ashy. And really, I want to honor, I don't get to do dark skin characters very often at all. And I was very, very excited to do theirs. I need to pick a pronoun and stick to it. Darker melanin skin, when they're hands, it actually is about half a shade to a full shade lighter than the rest of the face, just because of the wear or tear or some other scientific fact that I do not know. All I know is art, and the hands are typically lighter than the rest of the face or the rest of the body. As I said before, I was trying to do her hair, and it kept clashing with the skin. I'm like, oh no, it's fine, I'll fix it later. Not realizing that, again, I made her green. I don't know how. I think I went a little bit too desaturated with some of the tones, and it just kind of morphed there. When you look at it by itself, it looks fine. But as soon as you put down the reference, and I'm assuming the creator who, knows the skin color, it's going to be a bit more abrasive than, green, when it's supposed to be more, pale or white. So I eventually came in at the end before I started doing backgrounds and stuff like that to fix it. And fix it well, I hope. Following the lines, bringing it down for the shadows and stuff. I don't like going straight black on black with things. It makes things very muddled, it makes things really hard to see, so I will usually play with different tones of blue or purple. Because black is such an absolute color, and I don't like working with absolutes because it's as far as you can go. And I like leaving at least about 3 shades or so less than black or white, so when I do come in at the end for final touch-ups, it's a bit more vibrant in case I want to do like highlights or deepen shadows and stuff like that. And my screen, not only with the screen's my Cintiq here on the computer, but also my screen with my iPad, it's sometimes different than what you see in the actual online and like when you actually view it posted. And I have a bad habit of making things too dark to begin with because, you know, when your face is right there against the screen, you can notice it a little bit better. So I like to work dark and then work my way up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it shoots me in the foot. Like Glenda. Glenda, you're mean. But we had fun. See, like I'm coming through with these brighter color and she looks so much more fleshed out. So it just took me a little bit of time and walking away a couple times for me to actually notice my mistake and try to be a little bit more gentle with how I bring my tones. Playing with the whole pink versus green, I would have liked to put more green into Beetlejuice's actual silhouette and actual coloring, but we all know cliche, not cliche, the iconic look of Beetlejuice is black and white stripes. So to really incorporate the colors in, I relied a bit more heavily on the background. Having purplish pink on Glenda's side and more of a burgundy, and having more of a mossy green to neon green on Beetlejuice's side. And to kind of tie them both together, all of Rambu's animatics is based on a theater setting. And from what I do know limitedly of their lore, their actors are at least trying to get into the actor world. The theater world, pardon me. So I was thinking, like, what if this was a collaboration, kind of spur off the thing, and this is the final bow. So would want a spotlight coming down from above, and then their signature colors kind of lighten them up from behind. So on the right side of the page, you would see, like, as I did at the end, really strong highlights of pink. And then on the right side, there'll be a really strong highlights of green. And just have kind of that reflective light, and it really brought out some of their figures. And it was great. I used the multiply layer to darken the shadows, bring in more dimension. The initial pass is just for texture and to see where things go before coming in with shadows and saturation, highlights and stuff like that. Work from the base up because it's a little bit easier to work with everything already set than trying to put in the shadows and then, oh, this needs more saturation or this needs a little bit easier that way. I also will come in with an overlay layer for extra blushing, saturation with shadows, with flesh tones, the highlight of the ear, highlighting clothes and stuff like that. I will admit, I like playing with the overtones a little bit too much. But adding in the final tones, looks like we're just about done with the piece. Bringing pink in from the left, green in from the right, and I was originally only going to do it on each character, like their own colors individually. But as I was working on it, I accidentally started putting it on Glenda's dress, and I'm like, that looks good, because, you know, they're complementary colors. So I started putting it on both of them, and it really brought in a synced look. and I'm quite proud of how this ended up. So, what do you guys think? Apparently I'm Australian now. Can I hold it? No, I cannot. But anyway, this is the final piece and took me about 4 hours to do. It is for a competition where I could potentially get a private preview of the animated short that Rambu is working on, and having one of my characters as one of the background characters. And of course, you know, who else would I want besides Shad? But even if I don't win, this was still so much fun to work at. It wasn't my best piece by my own measure, but it was definitely a very fun piece, and I really hope Rambu sees it and likes it. Until next time, my weird and wonderful people, stay safe and sane. Bye!